Welcome back. We're to the first annual Central Coast Nutrition Conference. So far it seems great. I'm having a great time. So, here's the thing. I weigh 175 pounds. Okay?
And you're gorgeous. And you're gorgeous.
Okay, I weigh 175 pounds. When you see our next speaker, when she comes up, try to imagine her carrying me everywhere she goes, plus 10 pounds. That's what she lost since 2009 when she became a patient of Dr. Westman. She told me to tell you that she is shy and bashful, and we're hoping that she comes out of her shell here to tell you her compelling story. Please give a warm welcome to Lynne Daniel Ivey.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, thank you, Bill. I think our goal is if I can just come out of my shell this afternoon, we will have accomplished something, right? Before we get into anything else, I think it's a definite opportunity for all of us to give a tremendous thanks to our good friends Leslie, Bill, Shush, and Rosemarie for a fantastic conference. We have been welcomed so warmly. And everyone and all of our fantastic exhibitors, our vendors in the back, oh my goodness, I found an olive oil. I've made friends with olive oil. I've got an olive oil family, and I'm so excited. And all of our other vendors, too. We're so grateful for you, and thank you for being here. Thank you all for braving the weather to come out and be with us today. I've been so looking forward to getting with you this afternoon, and I'll tell you, never in my wildest dreams would I have ever had a inkling, never would have thought that I would have a chance to thank the titans, if you will, of low-carb, high-fat, because they are here today, truly. Dr. Finney, Dr. Volek, Dr. Wortman, and of course, my fearless leader back home and at Duke University, Dr. Eric Westman. I'll tell you, I never... When I started my forget that. When I started my low-carb, high-fat journey in November of 2009, so it's been a few years now, never in my wildest dreams would I have imagined that I could have lost 5 pounds. Never in my wildest dreams would I have ever thought I would have a chance to meet and talk with and say thank you from my heart to yours, for what you know, for what you do, for your courage and your conviction to not take status quo sitting down, but to stand up for it and to put some truth out there that a world, not just some truth, the truth out there, that folks are badly in need of. So thank you. Gentlemen, if you ever have days when you wonder, why do I do what I do? You just call me, because I will tell you. I'll remind you. So again, from my heart to yours, I could not begin this without thank you to these gentlemen. You're my heroes. You really, truly are. And I speak for, I'm one of many. So thank you. Okay, so this afternoon we've got a little bit of time, got a little opportunity to share with you some things that I wanted to just do a quick overview with, and also give you an opportunity to ask some questions at the very end, if that's okay with you all. My goals for us this afternoon really are just very simple: to share my story. I'd like to explore some key observations and some lessons learned since 2009, living and thriving in a low-carb lifestyle, and hopefully provide some thoughts and resources that may be helpful to you all wherever you are in looking at low carb, whether you're ingrained in it or whether you're looking to move down the road and implementing this into your way of living and being as well. I wanted to be sure to have some thoughts and resources that could be possibly helpful to you as you move down the road to implementing a well-formulated ketogenic diet and thriving in your own low-carb lifestyle, and of course answering some questions along the way. So, or at the very end, I'll make sure to save time for that. just a little bit about me. As my friend so graciously introduced, I am Lynne Ivey. I work currently at Duke University in Durham, North Carolina. My day job is the management and direction of programming for our doctors, our PAs, our nurse practitioners, our nurses, and our allied health professionals working at Duke. And I manage and accredit CME, continuing medical education, continuing ed, and also develop medical conferences. Part of my work is also in the development of patient and staff education. I'm an instructional designer by background and about 30 years of work in that field in a number of different industries. I've come to healthcare really in just the last 7 years. I've been at Duke now for 7 years. Prior to that, I was working in training and development, an organizational development with a couple of companies you might be familiar with, the Walt Disney Company. I was based in Florida, but did a lot of work in California, so it's kind of like coming home in a way. I was mighty glad to have the chance to come back for a little while. So also for Westin Hotels and Resorts at the corporate level, Ritz-Carlton Hotels and Resorts, and most recently, before coming to Duke, I was at the Biltmore Estate in Asheville, North Carolina, which is our version of the Hearst Castle on the East Coast, if you will. The George Vanderbilt, the Vanderbilt's beautiful home and beautiful estate in Asheville, North Carolina. So that's a little bit about me. Yes, I am from Charleston, South Carolina, and no, I don't have an accent. I think everyone, you know. It's just the way we talk down there. Indeed, everybody else has an accent, though. I lived around the world, studied around the world, but that was the one thing that I could never quite lose was the accent, so I thought I'd address that right up front. I grew up, speaking of growing up in Charleston, around the area, I grew up around beautiful fresh food. My family, both sides, have large farms, have been in the families for over 200 years, so I grew up around beautiful fresh food. I was loving talking with Dr. Finney last night and his homegrown, his heirloom tomatoes. He takes great pride in that. We've got to talk Cherokee purples here in just a little while, Dr. Finney, because I'm a tomato girl myself. But beautiful food. The only problem was that beautiful food was combined with things. Well, let's just say it's also known as the casserole capital of the world. You know, you're happy, you eat a casserole. You're sad, you're going to eat a casserole. Somebody having a birthday, you're going to eat a casserole. Somebody died, you're going to have a casserole. It's all casseroles. The lard that we rendered, or the fat that we rendered on the family farms, it was great. The problem was it was just combined with the word biscuit. You know, so lard and biscuit, probably not the best idea. I was overjoyed when I found out that I could cook with lard again. I mean, that was just a whole nother world. But anyway, but this time without the benefit of the biscuit, right? So as a child, I thought I'd throw in a few photos for you. I was a normal size. I was a normal size child. And or I should say, but at age 10, I started to have some trouble with food, and it started to show on me, I guess we should say. And my first diet, if you will, I remember it vividly, and it was so historic that my mother put it in my baby book. You know, if it gets in the baby book, you're doing, that's big stuff. I remember that she wrote, and this would have been Weight Watchers circa 1971. I was 10 years old, and my mom wrote in my baby book, "I'm so proud of Lynne. She has dieted now with Weight Watchers for 3 weeks, and she's lost 15 pounds. Now that's a lot for a little kid to lose. What I didn't tell my mom was that I wasn't eating. I wasn't eating the food that she sent me off to school with. I was already feeling the pressure of being I was the sweetest kid. I really was. I was a sweet kid, but I was feeling the pressure of being the little fat girl in class. And it was a lot. It really did something to me, and it colored the rest of my relationship with food it has for the rest of my life, or it did up till low carb, high fat. And now I embrace it fully. But, you know, that love-hate relationship started early on. And as you'll see in just a moment, the story, it hasn't been a happy relationship for many, many years. So there you go, my BWW photo. That's before Weight Watchers. That's circa 1963. So I was a normal size kid, little girl, right? Normal size until Weight Watchers, and struggle and up and down after that. The best way I could explain it maybe, or to characterize it, would be to say that I was at war with food and hunger. I battled it all the time. Starting that struggle with food, the hormones of youth, obviously, I was up and down with weight, yo-yoing all the time. Hormones of youth helped for a while. I was able to exercise, you know, and keep the weight off, but I was also starving myself, to be quite honest, to keep at what I thought was a normal weight. Now, also keep in mind this, as teenage and college years started to come in, it was about the time that we started hearing about low fat, low fat, low fat, low fat. I didn't know you couldn't eat a whole package of Snackwells, you know. It was low fat, right? I was living on Diet Pepsi and gummy bears. I was also dancing like crazy because I was working for Disney in the summertime. So I was, between exercise and low fat and all of that, my food relationships were pretty messed up. I didn't know what I know now, what we know now, what we have the benefit of knowing now. So hormones of youth helped for a while. I was a singer, dancer, performer. My summertime job, went back later professionally, my summertime job was a singer, dancer, performer at Disney. In fact, I know I've got a couple of people in the room that worked for Disney at one point. Could I see hands? Oh yeah. All right, so the next photograph, you just cover your eyes, because I'll show you the best diet in the world before I found low carb, high fat was my summer job, 1981. I'll let you guess which one I am. Any guesses? Humpty Dumpty. You know what? I was the one with the even. There you go. So this is what you're not supposed to see. So raise your hands right now. Everybody, raise your hands or it doesn't work. I promise not to tell that Lynn was the white rabbit. Okay, you can put it down. Because you're not supposed to do that, right? But yeah, I was the right height for the White Rabbit, Chip and Dale, and a couple of the other characters. It was also Cinderella. This was in Florida. So if you were in Florida, 1981, 82, those were my summer jobs, and just had a great amount of fun with that. You know, the Disney diet was the diet of choice because you were wearing like 40 pounds of fabric. I'm not kidding you. That was 40 pounds of fabric. It was the best diet in the world, but it still didn't do too much for my hips, as you can see right there. No, that's padding. That's padding going on there. But anyway, all through college, crazy diets. All or nothing, you know, the rice cake diet. Did anybody ever do that one? What are some of the others you did? Let me just hear. Grapefruit diet, thank you very much. Yeah, what else? Scarsdale diet. How about the putting peanut butter on crackers and scraping the peanut butter off just so you could have a little bit of a taste of that? Yeah. Did you ever do that one? What else? The cabbage soup diet. You know, just this crazy stuff. Oh my gosh, what about cottage cheese? The cottage cheese diet and tab. Cottage cheese and tab. Lived on that, you know, it's just nuts. So crazy, all or nothing, it was just totally nuts. OptiFast and MetaFast in my 20s and 30s, I started struggling with the weight gains, but during those years, you know, some of the more popular things to come into the public eye were the protein sparing, the medically managed weight loss diets. I was all on board with OptiFast and MetaFast and HMR and some of the other medically supervised diet programs. That's me on the right. Yeah, you're right. And I can tell you that consuming 800 calories a day in liquid for 3 months at a time, 3 months at a hit, it works. Man, it works. The problem was, if anyone has ever done this particular or things like this before. The problem was that when we were reintroduced to food, guess what we were coming back on? Oh my goodness, it was oatmeal and margarine and whole wheat toast and skim milk and Cheerios. Heart healthy, whole grain, right? Yeah. Well, it wasn't long before I was back to the gummy bears and the Diet Coke and because it was just like no matter what I did, the weight would come back. And after you drop a couple of $1,000s, I mean, it was a great business model because it kept business coming back, right? But it was wreaking havoc with my metabolism, and it wasn't doing a whole lot for being able to find and live sustainably with something that was really going to work with my body, with my metabolism at any rate. So, and by the way, that's my brother and that's my sister-in-law right there. And my brother is in healthcare. He's down at Medical University in South Carolina in interventional radiology, and that was us on his wedding day. So anyway, my 40s came along, and there you have it. This is the ultimate before picture. Actually, this is not the heaviest photograph. I don't have a photograph of myself at my heaviest. I weighed, at my heaviest, 344 pounds. Yep. And when this picture was taken, it was actually taken at my mother's funeral. I had, four and a half years ago. My mom, and I had, oh, here's the other thing. I had lost 60 pounds at this point. Started low carbing with Dr. Westman in November of 2009. This is April of 2010. And I'd lost 60 pounds at that point. So I was right at 284 pounds there on a 5'4" frame. I'm 5 feet 4 inches tall. I had taken care of my mom for a number of years before she passed away, for 8 years before she passed away from complications of type 2 diabetes. So I was with her, saw everything that happened with her, and long story short, she ended up, well, she was an incredible woman, college professor, loved the world, loved everybody. I'm telling you, if she had been here right now today, she would have hugged every one of you. And I think she's here. I do. I know she is. But her world went from wonderful and engaging and wide and incredible to a very small space. She developed peripheral neuropathy, a lot of the things that you hear folks ending up with. Peripheral neuropathy. In later stages, she lost her hearing. She lost her sight. She lost a limb. And she had checked herself into an emergency room in Charleston, South Carolina, where we are from. And the nurse, they were going to admit her because she had cellulitis going on in her leg. And the attending went out to put the orders in to admit, and when he came back in, she was gone. Yeah. So my mom taught me how to live, and I'll be forever grateful. But the thing that she taught me most of all was that that was not how I wanted to die. And I was on my way. At 344 pounds, you better believe it. It was only a matter of time, and I was terrified. I can tell you that I was at my wit's end. I did not know what to do, but intuitively I knew that this something was wrong. Low fat was not working for me. I was doing what my doctors told me to do, and it was not working. So my teachable moment came, thank God. My wonderful boss, my director at Duke in our department, was having tremendous success with Dr. Eric Westman at the Duke Medicine, the Duke Lifestyle Medicine Clinic, and I got an appointment with Dr. Westman and came through the door on November 5th, my birthday. It's my new birthday. My real birthday is January 5th, but my new birthday is November the 5th. And at that point in time, I'd lost some weight. I made an appointment, but it was going to be a little while before I could get in to see Dr. Westman, so I was trying to lose some weight. You know, I didn't want to step on that scale. I did lose some weight. I lost about 20 pounds in the 3 months in between getting to my appointment. But again, it was the crazy way. It was like not eating for days on end and feeling horrible and just doing anything to get some weight off. But when I got to Dr. Westman, I weighed 344 pounds. My BMI was 59. And my waist was 68 inches. So that's where things were. I remember Dr. Westman walking in the door and saying, now how can I help today? What can I do for you? And I just lost it. Because I was ready to hear, well, you know, you're not exercising and you're not dieting, and you know, you got to use a little willpower, and here, take the 1,500 calorie diet and come back in 2 weeks. That is not what I got. I got a different kind of physician, a different kind of experience totally, and I knew I was in the right place with somebody pretty extraordinary who was just, I mean, it was a mind bender. That first appointment was a mind bender. I remember these things being said, and I knew it was going to be different when he said, low carb is an elegant way of eating. I was like, what? Okay, and he said, yes, you know, he found out, we had talked a little bit, and I was a translator-interpreter for the State Department for a while. I was a French-speaking translator-interpreter in my checkered past, and so he said, yeah, you know, like the French. We eat a lot of butter, we eat heavy whipping cream, and I'm like, the pate even, and you know, I was like, you are kidding me. And then he said, fruit is nature's candy. I swear we're going to make a bumper sticker or T-shirts or something, you know, because that's basically how my body was metabolizing it. My body didn't know the difference between a Snickers bar and an orange. It didn't make any difference. Body didn't know the difference between a baked potato with, you know, margarine or, you know, salsa or whatever. Didn't know the difference between a baked potato and a donut from the Krispy Kreme or the Dunkin' Donut because I couldn't handle it. I didn't know that. He also said you have to eat fat to lose fat. And at that point I thought, oh my God, this man either really knows his stuff, because he's saying some things completely different here. You know, I looked at him like I thought he had just lost my mind for me. You know, because I've been afraid of fat my whole life, pretty much, all of our lives. You have to eat fat to lose fat. And then the kicker was, he said, the weight is not your fault. And that's when I said, all right, what do I have to do? What do I need to do? So that's how it started, and here's what happened. Here's what has happened. I wanted to share with you the stats, if you will, statistics from November 2009 and the current state of things, and you'll see the breakdown here. Loss of 200 pounds before and after. My BMI went from 59 to 24.7. Down 34.3 points there. My waist went from 68 inches to 28 inches. And this I've been maintaining pretty much for the last 2.5 years. This is current, but this pretty much happened within the first 2 years. So that's what you're seeing. Waist, I lost 40 inches. That's almost 3 feet around my waist. Now granted, my waist is my smallest part. I will say that. But granted, that's still. Total cholesterol, and I'm going to ask Dr. Westman to comment on this. You see the information here, triglycerides, LDL, HDL, triglyceride, HDL, and total cholesterol, HDL. You see what's happened there now. And Dr. Westman, would you mind making a couple of comments on that?
Sure. Your HDL is 94. Go home.
Okay. You know, so it's been fascinating. The challenge that I'm having at this point, I'll be quite honest with you, is my primary care physician is looking at this and going, you get in here right now and we're starting statin therapy. And I'm just like, okay, no we're not. But how do you do that and not be labeled as the non-compliant patient? because, you know, if I get a cold, I need to go, somebody get me some meds. I'll be calling Dr. Westman if not. But yeah, I find that I'm having to really help educate my doctor, my physician, to what's going on with me and why I don't want to go down that path. Because as our esteemed physicians, our doctors and researchers have said, this is not something that is really taught in medical schools, and we tend to work out of a place of what we've been taught. So my challenges aren't staying on a low-carb, high-fat diet. I live quite wonderfully that way. My challenges are really helping my friends, my neighbors, my family to some degree, and in some cases my healthcare providers to understand what's happening as well. So we all have a role in helping that. There you go. Pictures, I think, are worth 1,000 words, and that's the before and after. So there you go, from desperation to absolute jubilation, overjoyed. Thank you. It's all back there. Could not have done it without the science and without the lifelong work of the gentlemen, all of them sitting in the back of the room. So I'm just grateful every single day. So where do we go from here? And by the way, there were just 2 years difference between the picture on your left and the picture on your right. The picture on your left was April of 2012 at my mom's funeral. 2 years later, on the low-carb cruise in May of 2012. So 2 years. 2 years and 6 months low carbing, and that's what I maintain. How I maintain today. So it's nothing short of extraordinary. How did I lose it? There we go. Right now, obviously, low fat. I'm sorry. Doggone it, you know what I mean, just making sure you're awake. Low carb, high fat is my lifestyle. And to quote one of my favorite quotes from The Art and Science of Low Carb Living, wonderful book by Dr. Finney and Dr. Volek, it just feels right. At some point, you get over the intellectualizing of it, and you just do what feels right. And this absolutely has worked beautifully for me. Eating only when I'm hungry. My blood glucose has normalized, obviously. I test my blood glucose and my blood ketones every day. I wasn't diabetic, I guess I could be categorized as pre-diabetic when everything started, but I still test my blood glucose and my blood ketones frequently, just so I know where I am with things and what I might need to do to adjust, if you will. I eat beautiful, nutritionally dense, real food, high fat, optimal protein, very low carb, and feel nourished on all levels. I have to tell you, that was a first. That has been a first, and a beautiful outcome of all of it. No longer at war with food, hunger, or myself. And that has been a blessing right there. Getting up in the morning and not worrying about what am I going to eat and when am I going to eat, and it's incredible because food is just not an issue. It's not. And I can focus and go and do and not worry about it. Again, nutritional ketosis is a beautiful thing, and it has done nothing but just feel right. So that's kind of where I am with things today. What do I eat? Here's a breakdown of it in some way, shape, form, some combination on a daily basis. Good fats, I'm eating those good fats with including olive oil, coconut oil, real butter, heavy whipping cream, full fat cheeses. When I was living in France, I was going to school at the Sorbonne and also took a culinary course at the Cordon Bleu. Learned to cook with butter and all those things that we weren't supposed to touch, right? It's a joy to come back to these things and to lose weight in the process of eating those things. Nature's perfect food. I eat eggs like a crazy woman. Well, really not, but not too crazy. But egg whites and the yolks, meat, poultry, pork, fish, lamb, and my personal favorite, bacon. I think it's its own food group. I do, along with pork rinds, which I gotta say, conference committee, those were the most amazing pork rinds that you had for us upon arrival. Those were incredible. I've got to get some more. Non-starchy vegetables, berries every now and then. I use them almost as a condiment, not a meal, you know, not as a serving. I might put berries on some Greek yogurt, full-fat Greek yogurt. Almonds, macadamia nuts every now and then as well, because those could be trigger foods for me. I love nuts. So I just manage that. Lots of water. Every now and then, red wine and vodka. Had some beautiful wine last night at Red Luna. Boy, was that a delicious wine we had there last night. And, oh yes, chocolate mousse au chocolat. Parce que c'est parfait. Oui? Yeah, mousse, chocolate mousse. You can make a low-carb chocolate mousse that will knock your socks off. If you want the recipe, let's get together. Okay, all right. Okay, I've got some cards with my email address and everything on it, so we'll talk afterwards. All right? Have I got a recipe for you? So yeah, how do we do it? What do we eat? What don't we eat? Basically, sugar and starch. No grains, no rice, no pasta, no fruits. My body doesn't know the difference between a Dunkin' Donut or a Krispy Kreme donut and what I thought was healthy in terms of the fruits that I was eating. And it really hasn't been a problem, quite frankly. I think more people have a problem with what I eat than I do. I don't have a problem with what I eat, but oh my goodness, get into work or you know, social situations, some family situations, because we tie so much. It's an emotional kind of thing, right? So I don't have a problem with it. I just do what I know is right, what feels right, and I go from there. I know too much to go back. I wouldn't do it for the world. Wouldn't do it any other way for the world. How am I maintaining this loss today? A couple of different ways, actually. I continue to work with Dr. Eric Westman. I'm the support group coordinator for his clinic, and we have an incredible group of folks that join us for our low-carb support group, and I'll talk about that in a moment. I'm a lifelong learner. I love to learn, and I will just be very frank and tell you I'm a LCHF, low-carb, high-fat nerd. I am. I want the research. I love the data. I am absolutely ecstatic about the opportunity to be here and hear and see more again today. Books, blogs, podcasts, recipes, sharing what I've learned with others and learning from others too. You know, it's so much fun to see people catch on with this and run with it too. And so I'm very, very excited about the opportunities to share in that way. Professional memberships, I think, is another real support pillar for me. I maintain professional membership as an affiliate with the American Society of Bariatric Physicians, in the Nutrition and Metabolism Society, and Obesity Action Coalition. And of course, the low carb support group. I want to tell you about our support group and how am I doing on time. Where's Bill? Oh, good. Okay, so here we go. I want to open up for some questions too. This is the part of the low carb support group. My dear friends, on the left, your left, is Janet Huffstetler. She is an amazing woman. And on your right, my dear friend Kay Webb. These ladies have also lost over 100 pounds. This picture is from last summer, and they would be mortified if they knew I was sharing the photo with you, but I can tell you they've lost even more. They'll be proud of that. All right, so Dr. Westman, you let the girls know that I did do full disclosure. This is not the final product. But Janet and Kay, one of the ways that we have maintained and supported and encouraged each other has been through fantastic friendship that has expanded from individual, going out and having omelets together at a great little restaurant in Durham to staying in touch via the internet and instant messaging and emails and phone calls and that kind of thing. I think one of the greatest things you can do is build a support group of people who get it around you, because the world is going to, everybody has a comment about what you're eating, right? And what you're not. So low carb support group has been absolutely fantastic. We have over, I think it's 2,200 members now that on our Facebook group page, and I'll give you that information if you'd like to join with us. We'd love to have you there. You can join Dr. Westman's support group online. I'll tell you that how to find us in a moment. And then we also have our live group, obviously Facebook and live, led by Dr. Westman. First Tuesday of every month at, get this, a Greek restaurant. A diet group that goes out and eats. Now, is that not awesome? Don't you love it? And the servers know, oh yeah, here they come. There are like 40 or 50 of us that show up for an hour and a half. And Dr. Westman is there, and I'm working with them, and everybody's eating and laughing and having a ball and learning from each other, which is fantastic. 40 to 50 participants a month. The group is made up of patients, interested folks from the community. Let's see, Dr. Wortman, we have low carb babies in our group. How about that? Yep, we sure do. We have low carb babies and other medical miracles. Seriously, there's one lady in our group that is seriously a medical miracle. She's 70 plus years old. Her case, or her story, was written up in Dr. William Davis's book, Wheat Belly, talking about a woman who was diagnosed schizophrenic at age 16 and spent the majority of her life in and out of mental institutions. If she were here today, she would tell you that she tried numerous times because of the illness, to kill herself, to kill family. The voices were with her and present all the time. And after getting to Dr. Westman, and with the removal of carbs, sugars, and starches, the voices stopped in less than a week, Dr. Westman? And she is as lucid and lovely as the day is long. And I wish you could meet her. That's all the evidence I would need, if this weren't enough. So it's pretty amazing. So next time you're reading through Wheat Belly, if you have that book, I forget which page it's on, but they talk about the Duke doctors with the case of schizophrenia, and that's Dr. Westman and his colleagues and our dear friend in our support group back home. So we've got all kinds of things going on, fun, information, education, resources, and recipes. And I guarantee you I won't forget about the chocolate mousse, okay? So anytime you're coming over to our part of the world, to our part of the country, if you're coming in around a first of a month, we do meet on the first Tuesday of every month, but if we know you're coming, we'll call an emergency meeting of the low carb support group, and we will go to the Greek restaurant. We'll go have some fun. How about that? We will do that. But as mentioned, you can join us on Facebook with folks from around the world, our patients from our Duke Lifestyle Medicine Clinic and around the world. Just go on Facebook and search for the low carb support group. There are a bunch of different low carb groups out there, but you have to search for the low carb support group because it's Dr. Westman's, right? There you go. And it's not hyphenated, by the way. Okay, so the low carb support group. And you can also join us, if you all don't know about this, low carb has been so much fun that we take it on the road, well, actually out to sea, usually for 3 days of medical conference and continued learning on the low carb cruise. And I think the 7th one is going out of Port Canaveral, Florida. What was it, Francisco? The 18th through the 25th. So you can talk with any of us, and we can give you more information about that too, because it's just fantastic. And I know a number of our speakers have been speakers on the cruise as well. So we have a lot of fun. And the support group wanted to share some of the very best things ever about thriving and surviving on a low-carb diet, living the low-carb lifestyle, if you will. I actually polled the group earlier, and these were some of the things I got back. More energy to better sleep. People were saying all kinds of good things. My normalized glucose, blood glucose readings, that's a big deal, and we have diabetics or that previously diabetic because Dr. Westman is able to take folks off of insulin, off of metformin, off of glucophage, and he's doing that every single day. When's the last time you went to the doctor to get off of medicine? Right? So, yeah, so all kinds of good things. I'm not driven by hunger or thoughts of food all the time. I eat to live, not to eat. And that's pretty typical for us because we hear people talking about, you know, I'm not driven by hunger. I can walk without a cane. That's another one. No more brain fog, clarity, focus. And I can tell you, for those of you who are low carbing, hope you have felt that. Maybe you have felt that way too. Easy to travel. No more seatbelt extenders on flights. And I guarantee you, there is not a time when I sit down on a plane when I don't have that moment of panic, just because of years of frustration with that. But yeah, that was a beautiful benefit for one person and a number of us in particular. Save a lot of money off my grocery bill each month. You can save money, which is great because you're not so terribly hungry. You're eating foods that nourish you and that help you stay full and that help you lose weight, which is just fantastic. Off insulin, glucophage, metformin, and statins, all these things. Blood pressure medications as well. Heartburn is banished. That's another good one. Joint pain is gone. So much fun to shop for clothes again, which is, ladies, I know you know what I'm saying. It's true, right? And for me, this is mine, dancing. I love to dance. I dance all the time, anytime I can. And it's been so much fun to get back to that. At 344 pounds, there was no way I was going to be able to exercise because I hurt all the time. I was hurting all the time. So to be able to get back to something that I adore, and believe me, I do it all. At one point I was dancing with a flamenco troupe when I lived in Miami Beach. It's a beautiful, beautiful dancing. So every kind of dancing you can think of, ballet, tap, jazz, swing, let's see, salsa, tango, you name it, I'm doing it. And it's such a joy to have my life, it's a joy to have my life back. So I'm very, very thankful. And, oh, yeah, Dr. Wortman, I can't wait to go skiing again, FYI. So there you go. Haven't done it yet, but I'm going. So my message, I guess, that's pretty much the close of my particular presentation. But my message for you would be to just seize the day, take the day, learn all you can, and find your best health. Because as we know, it is a gift. Once it's gone, once that firewall of good health is breached, it's so hard to get back. But I really thought I had gone too far. I didn't think it was going to be possible, and I was pretty much, in my deepest, darkest moments, I was resigning myself to going down the path that my mom did, and I didn't want to do that. And I just thank God every single day, every moment for what I know now, because I wouldn't go back for the world. So, with that, I would love to open the floor for questions. How are we doing, Bill?
2 or 3 more minutes.
2 or 3 more minutes. Okay. What might I answer for you? Yes, ma'am.
I noticed you didn't have any fish or in your diet. Are you a vegetarian?
Oh no. I do eat fish. If I didn't get that up on the slide, I meant to. I eat.
Do you eat red meat?
I do. Oh yes, I eat meat, I eat poultry, I eat pork, I eat lamb, I eat fish. I have to watch shellfish though, because I'm allergic. So but otherwise, yeah, I do. What other questions? Yes, sir.
Do you find nutritional supplements are necessary?
You know, at this point, and this is something I'm interested in learning more about, in the clinic, I take a good multivitamin and I take fish oil. So otherwise, that's pretty much what I do. That's pretty much what I do. What else? What other questions might you have? Yes.
So if you're doing 80% fat, 50% protein, 5% carbs, does it matter how many calories?
You know, I'm going to say, for me, I have found that the smaller I have gotten, I have reduced my portion sizes kind of naturally. For me, I do kind of, I'm not counting calories, but I'm looking at kind of an overall portion. And Dr. Westman, you've got some thoughts possibly about that as well?
Sure. Well, so the low-carb ketogenic diet gets you into fat burning. It's not a weight loss diet. I had someone say, well, then I'm leaving because I want to lose weight. No, the point is, you don't necessarily lose weight when you are fat burning. So the caloric balance does matter, but for most people, you don't count calories, you don't worry about it. But this is one common reason for a plateau or someone who's actually gaining weight when they're eating this way because they're eating for emotional reasons, for ritual, for 3 times a day because they've always eaten 3 times a day. So there are other factors that can come into play. And I think the calorie idea does matter. It's just that it doesn't for most people at first.
Yeah. Good. Did that answer for you? Great. Time for maybe 1 or 2 more? Yes.
How do you handle comments from family or friends on weight gain?
That's a great question. That's a great one. With love and in an effort to help them understand, and in an effort to let them know that I am okay, because food is so tied emotionally. Well, eat. Have this, have that. Holidays are particularly difficult because it's so tied in with food. So one of my best strategies has been just to, first of all, to eat a good high-fat snack before I go anywhere, to carry a good high-fat snack, and by golly, if that is a little pat of Kerrygold butter, so be it. I'm a part of a butter cult, I will tell you. I just am. So they worry about that. I mean, they're just like, are you sitting there and really just eating that butter alone? I'm like, yeah. It's okay. And so I find that I have to handle that very, very carefully. And there's some people that are open to it and that see even with the results, people are still like, your kidneys are going to explode. The difference between ketosis and ketoacidosis, they don't get it. So I try to handle each situation very differently. I try not to put myself in situations where I might be tempted by food. I'm not tempted by it. It's no big deal. And people do try to sabotage, but I stay full. I'm not hungry. And as things come up, I just try to let them understand, but help them understand. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to eat the death by chocolate fudge cake that Aunt Martha made. Where I might be tempted by food, I'm not tempted by it. It's no big deal.